Hello again, Lisa.
Hello, Andrew.
The third part of season 19.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Because we sort of have to split it up a bit because it's quite long if you did it as one thing.
Yes.
So let us carry on with Earthshock.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. No, they don't laugh, do they?
No.
I was very impressed. It was the Cybermen when I was small, and even today this story still impresses me for slightly different reasons.
Yes.
But what do you think of it?
I like it. Yeah. Yeah. It's got.
I like it. That's how you're being served.
Yeah. It's got some really interesting ideas.
Yeah.
To some extent, it's repeating Revenge of the Cybermen a little bit in some ways.
Well, it's not just that it's repeating. There's an awful lot of other things it's repeating when it comes to Cybermen stories. Because you've got the opening scenes are very reminiscent of Tomb of the Cybermen on Telos, you know, in the quarry, and sort of there's even some sort of camera work where they're climbing up the cliff at the not a cliff, it's sort of an incline at the start. And it's quite like the sort of high camera shots you get in Tomb. Then you've got like the Cybermen awakening in their pods, and that's very Tomb of the Cybermen as well. So
they got into a lot of trouble for that, didn't they?
Yeah, because of course at this point Tomb of the Cybermen doesn't copies
exist.
were known to exist.
No.
You know, it's a few years before it gets recovered. But I think Eric Saywood said it was the imagery of the Cybermen bursting out, the photographs that existed.
Yes.
That's what he liked and wanted to sort of go for. And of course, then you have the problem because the Cybermen are looking at the clips, and there's the line about the ice tubes of Telos, and they have to use a clip from Wheel in Space episode 6 because that's all there is. Well, it's not all there is, but it's the nearest thing you can just about get away with pretending it's Tomb of the Cybermen. But again, that first episode is just very, very atmospheric.
Yes.
The cave sets are really good, and the lighting's good as well.
Yes, it's not overlit.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Yeah, you've got the fossils.
Yes.
And the little clip of
a little bit of Sanson.
Sanson, or planes, as Daffy Duck might insist.
A little bit of fossils.
From Carnival.
That's my impression of it.
Carnival of the Animals, not Carnival of Monsters. No. You have to be careful.
Yes.
But then you've got Beryl Reid with her hair,
with her hair and her shoes, and her not really knowing what the hell she's talking about. But I think it works.
Yeah.
You don't want a Ripley kind of character.
No.
The fact that she looks so sort of odd in that situation, I think it works.
Yeah.
Because this is like Britain. We don't have that many glamorous people in positions of power, which you can see if you look at the government. So
I'm just wondering who else might you have cast?
I don't know.
If Beryl hadn't been available, who else?
Would you have gone somebody like entertainment, or would you have gone for a more serious actress?
How about Patricia Hayes?
Patricia Hayes.
Yeah.
Well, that might have been interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I can imagine Patricia Hayes.
I don't know, because she's really small.
In a Mrs. Cravat voice.
Oh, maybe, yes. Sweep the Cybermen round and true, helping Adric and Doctor Who. So I come up with that.
But yeah, it's yeah.
Sorry, I just put you off, haven't I?
Yes. Send in your suggestions of who you would have had to play the captain.
Could have played
Captain Briggs.
Yeah. Interesting though. Yes. But yeah, it's nicely structured in the end of part 1. It's the Cybermen, and they don't really encounter the Doctor till part 3. So it's holding them back.
Yes.
I mean, yes, they do an awful lot of faffing with that bomb in part 2, and they're kept out of the action. But it's only in sort of the last year or so I've realised that if you'd been watching BBC One towards the end of 1981, you would have got a clue as to this story, because there's the thing about the front cover of the Radio Times was offered, and John Nathan Turner said no, I want it to be a surprise.
Yeah.
But there's an edition of the Generation Game with Larry Grayson, which has got a load of robots on it. as a round, and there's like Metal Mickey and Marvin and K9. But there's also a Cyberman.
And it's a new Cyberman?
No, it's an old Cyberman costume, but it's being voiced by David Banks using the modulation that they use, because Earthshock's probably in the studio around the same time.
Yes.
I need to check the exact dates, but they've got the Cybermen voice box and they've got David Banks.
Yes.
And I think it's David Banks in the costume as well.
Oh, right, okay.
It's an old costume that's been cobbled together. They're not letting on that it's the new Cyberman. But there's a little bit of a clue there just to plant it in viewers' memories that the Cybermen were a thing.
Yes.
And I think that's quite clever the way they did that. But the clip is online. You have to search for like Metal Mickey Generation Game.
Oh, right, okay.
But it is quite nice.
Sorry, excuse me?
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing about keeping them secret, it is sort of swings and roundabouts.
Yes, because you lose out on some viewers.
The publicity,
that might turn in.
But it was exciting, and I think not just as a fan, because there's that whole thing on Did You See?
Yeah.
Where there's the chat going on about sort of Doctor Who's monsters, and he seems to be quite excited that the Cybermen are back as well. And let's talk. Well, we've got to talk about the end.
We have to talk about the end, yes. And I watched it this morning, and it's ridiculous because I have seen it dozens and dozens and dozens of times.
Yeah.
But that silent credit and the reaction of the regulars always gets me a little bit.
Okay, so it still works then.
It still works, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, there was lots of no music this morning. No music. Where's the theme tune? Oh, silent credits. And all this sort of stuff, but yeah, I mean, he's not the first companion to die in Doctor Who, but he's the first companion for quite a long while to die. So,
but it is that thing that Davison's Doctor. One of the sort of the ideas behind it is that he's more fallible than Tom's Doctor, because he goes into a situation and people ignore him or don't listen to him.
Because he's not.
Yeah, he hasn't got that presence. That the fourth Doctor's got. So how does he deal with that? And also, occasionally, things don't end right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, one way or another.
Yeah, because you'll get that again in the next season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't remember particularly mourning the loss of Adric. I liked Adric.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I accepted that that's what happened to him. Yeah. So I was certainly not.
No.
There were tales of people that were weeping when they were going to bed or something because Adric was dead. But no, okay, it's happened. Yeah. Move on.
But to be honest, in the Twitch chat room, people were more sad about the sonic screwdriver than Adric.
But Earthshock on its standing alone, it works really well. I think it does set a problem that how do you follow that sort of next year and the year after.
Yes.
And you do start to get into the sort of diminishing returns that we'll have to talk about later on. But as an individual story, I think it's really, really successful.
Yes.
But unfortunately, it's not the last story of the season.
No.
So, shall we move on?
Yes.
To Time-Flight.
To Time-Flight.
Now, there's Time-Flight. The first problem I think Time-Flight's got is that it's coming immediately after Earthshock.
Yes. So you've still got the events.
So you've got a reference to it in the first scene, and then it's brushed under the carpet, really, isn't it? And everybody gets over it far too quickly.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, sort of I think Russell T Davies suggested, well, why didn't they go off to some planet and build a shrine to Adric or something like that, some sort of monument or something like that. But unfortunately, the way the show works at this time is that there's no room for that.
No.
You've got to get on with the next story, and
it's a very ambitious story.
It's a very ambitious story, and there's no money.
There's no money.
There's no money, and that's where the real problem is.
And I said to somebody at work today, because he said he'd seen Time-Flight Part 1.
Yeah.
And I said, the problem with Time-Flight is that all the money's been spent on the story before.
Yeah.
So they've got no money.
Yeah. So the first episode, I think, is not got a bad atmosphere.
No.
Because you've got the mystery of the disappearing planes, the hardware looks really nice on the screen, and we've squeezed onto a Concorde.
Oh God, it's very small.
Yeah, because there's a Concorde at the
Yeovilton
Fleet Air Arm Museum.
Yeah, we went there for Doctor Who Day.
Which has Doctor Who days, and they have got a Concorde you can get on and
walk around.
And
it's really small.
It was really, really cramped.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought there's no way I could spend hours sitting in this.
We didn't spend hours. That was the whole idea.
In these seats, or even minutes. Frankly,
it was small, but it got you there a lot quicker.
So you could get out. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But I mean, yes, people go on about the design of it and that, and yes, it's a very recognisable
shape
sort of thing. But then you've got the problem that you've only got so much filming time with it.
Yes.
And then you've got to use a few models on a tabletop.
Yes.
And then you've got things like at the end Concorde trying to take off from prehistoric Earth, and
it's got buildings in the background.
Well, yeah, the stock footage has got buildings in the background. There's a bird that flies in front of it.
Yeah.
And how does it? What runway do they use? Because you look at the set; it's all bumpy bits of rock. And where were the steps? How did they get on board at the end?
There must be a way of getting on board. Perhaps they nicked them from the other one.
Well, don't they bring up the steps to the Concorde? The steps aren't on board Concorde, are they?
I don't know. Perhaps they found a ladder.
I don't know.
Perhaps they found a ladder in the TARDIS.
I don't know.
And they tied it on.
I'm sure somebody can
correct
us on that. But yes, it's script-wise, it's very ambitious.
Yes. Too ambitious.
And in itself, that's not a problem if you can do it.
But they couldn't.
Yeah, the Master's disguise makes very little sense.
Yes.
Just in terms of what does he think he's doing?
Yes.
And it's in places it feels like it's been written backwards. The end of part one is the revelation that you're not in Heathrow any longer.
Yes.
But end of part two is is Khalid collapsing and oozing a lot. And then it was me all along. And the Doctor should go, why were you wearing that? And the Master would go, I don't know. What is that?
I don't know what kind of accent it was.
That was Ainley.
Okay,
sorry about that.
Oh, there's a cute pink snake on the telly.
Oh, we've got a snake dance on.
Oh, I like the snake.
And it's the Punch and Judy snake, and there's some kids looking at it with gob. It looks a bit like Pipkins, actually. We'll talk about that later.
Sorry. Yes.
Back to Time-Flight. Nigel Stock.
Nigel Stock. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole car. All the air crew are all very good.
Yeah.
Because Michael Cashman's very good.
Yeah.
Richard Easton's very good. And I've forgotten the other one's name. Keith Drinkle, thank you. Yeah, he's very good too.
I only saw the end credits the other day.
I know, it's ridiculous, but it's good. It's the cast's good.
Yeah.
And it's all right. It's okay, but it's.
But I think part 3 just looks cheap.
Yeah.
That's the thing. All the filming stuff's gone away, and there's a lot of it just set in that podule, which is like bare walls and two blokes in grey leotards with funny heads.
Yeah, I mean, we have to say
it is very bare bones, isn't it? Part 3. Yeah.
This is the only Doctor Who story we've ever watched where we stopped halfway through.
When we did our marathon.
And left it a couple of days to carry on. I think we got to the end of episode
2 probably. And thought, we'll have a rest.
Oh God, it's the Master again.
Well, that's the thing. Once upon a time you go, oh great, it's the Master. Yes. And then you go, oh, it's the Master. And then you go, oh blimey, it's the Master. Yeah. It is that thing about the more you play the card.
Yes, it's diminishing returns.
The less interesting it gets, unfortunately.
Yes.
So yeah, it's. I have to say, I was fairly. I remember, sort of, not glancing at my watch, but thinking, oh, this isn't as good as
last
week, especially when you've got the. The stuff where they're on the blasted heath, and there's the ionic column, and everybody's having to stand really close to it because the set is like sort of 3 foot by 2 foot.
Yes.
It really is obvious that there's no money left at this point. So that's the thing. You get Earthshock, but it has consequences. Yes, unfortunately. So, but then leaving Tegan at the end as well. Yeah.
Yes, and to be honest, I mean, I love Tegan's character. She's very strong. But that's an interesting idea. It would have been nice to have, maybe not to have her come back in the first story of season 20. Maybe make it the second story. Just have a story with Doctor and Nyssa.
Doing stuff together.
Yes. Okay. Yes. They've done some big finishes that sort of plug that gap. Winter for the Adept, I think, plugs that gap. But yeah, it was just nice for a while to have a Doctor and one companion.
I mean, it is,
and someone he likes.
It is a bit of an artificial way to end the season.
Yes, it's a cliffhanger, isn't it?
And when the next season starts up, it's only one episode before this is answered, really. So it's okay, but it doesn't really go anywhere as an idea. That's the thing. But I was saying to you, it's interesting if you look at sort of the director-writer sort of setup for this, the tail end of this season and the start of the next, how it's all Peter Grimwade and Ron Jones.
Yes.
Because Ron Jones directs Black Orchid. Peter Grimwade directs Earthshock, then writes Time-Flight, which Ron Jones directs, and Ron Jones then directs Arc of Infinity as well. So it's that thing I said to you, like end of season 14 is just Bob Holmes and Chris Boucher.
Yes.
And David Maloney.
Yes.
And a bit of Michael E. Bryan. Yes. But it's interesting the way it all focuses just on a very few people.
Yes.
You get periods of that sometimes. Like you've got like the 2 David Fisher stories in a row, the 2 Ian Stewart Black stories in a row, and things like that. You did that one all right. Come back and do another one quick.
Yes. So do the next one.
Yeah, please.
Really.
And I do wonder if it is really, that quick a turnaround. Can you come back next time? Yeah. Right. Okay. Good. Right. That deals with that problem. So. Yeah. But overall, I think season 19
it's very strong.
Very strong.
Very strong.
Yes. Time-Flight's probably my least favourite.
Yes.
And I said more the second half of it than the first half. The first half, it starts off okay. But all in all, I think
it's a good start.
Yeah, by the end of that season, Peter Davison was the Doctor, no question.
He's very firmly established. But he's
But there we go. Right, okay, and we'll be back with season 20 very soon.
Bye.